Hey, Screen Peekers, welcome back. If you've been trying to keep up with gaming news lately, you've probably noticed one thing: the console wars might be changing forever. PlayStation has been making headlines with some big decisions. Xbox keeps shifting a strategy, and every week it feels like another announcement has you gamers arguing online. Whether you're Team PlayStation, Team Xbox, or you're just here for great games, we've got plenty to unpack, so grab your controller, settle in, and let's get into the biggest gaming stories of the week of June 29th. All right, guys, welcome back. Before we jump into this week's episode, some quick intros are in order. My name is Nick. I am one of your co-hosts today. And with me today, he is the reason why we are posting this video a couple days late. Mr. Marco, welcome. Where have you been, man? Tell the audience.
I've been in Scotland. I went to Glasgow and Edinburgh for a family vacation. I'm full of haggis right now. So today is my first full day back. I got in super late last night. So yeah, been enjoying some travels. But Scotland's beautiful. If you've never been there, really great country to visit. Super nice people. Had a really great time. So sorry I came a little late this week with the video game news. I'm sure we'll talk about a lot of things you've all been reading about. It's been a hot week to miss video game news wise, but we'll get right into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And while Marco was out in Scotland enjoying his haggis, I was over here at work, just heads down, doing my thing, doing my research. No, I'm kidding. Marco
means he's finally got some work done. That's what he's saying.
No, but Marco and I, we were, even though he was on vacation, we were talking about all the crazy news that's been happening this week, and we were so excited to just yap about it and talk about it and discuss. But I think we're going to start and talk about the news that came from Sony, from PlayStation, right? They announced some huge changes going into what was it, 2028?
Yeah, starting January 1st, 2028.
Yep. They will stop making physical game discs, and all PlayStation titles will be digital only. What's your take on that, Marco? How are you feeling on that?
I have an extremely negative view, as does much of the gaming world. I mean, well, I should say opinions online have seemed to be split on this, but I do think the majority of what I've seen, there's a lot of backlash, as there should be, about the end of physical games. And granted, it is just for their first party PlayStation games, which they have full control over. This is terrible for the gaming industry. And the quick thing I'll say, many listeners, we even got in some of our comments on some of our videos, is like, they don't even care about this. Physical games are dead. People haven't bought physical games in a while. I would say, like, no matter which way you look at it, this is bad for the industry. Whether or not you buy physical games yourself, put that aside. From a gaming preservation standpoint, just consumer choice standpoint, this is a bad decision, and I think ultimately comes down to a little bit of corporate greed.
Oh yeah.
I understand, like, the console market is declining, right? And even though PlayStation is at the forefront of that, along with Nintendo, who's also not can easily be blamed for the lack of physical, and they're going with these like digital cartridges as well. This is bad for gamers, and it's bad for preservation, regardless of whether or not you buy physical games. Nick, I don't think you buy too many because you're mostly a Steam player. I mean, I admittedly myself, like, I used to buy completely 100% physical up until probably COVID is when I started getting more digital. I probably buy 5 physical games per year, but majority of my library has now become digital just because of ease of access. But at the same time, like, there's plenty of games I was considering buying physical, like the new Gears of War E-Day, that collector's edition. I actually might purchase that later today. Like, there's a lot of people who buy physical, and as you can see
Absolutely.
too, like, I'm a big collector. Like, I love displaying my games, but it's not even just about displaying, it's about preservation.
Yep.
And we could get into a whole argument, but I'll pass it back to you, Nick, of like, you know is physical true preservation, because I think there's a whole other separate topic on that as well. But ultimately, this is bad for the industry, no
Yep.
matter if you personally are affected or not, in my opinion.
No, absolutely. It's horrible for the industry. It's horrible for us consumers. And I'll say this, right? And I want us all as gamers to put this in our frame of mind. Sony pushed this digital only future as convenience for us gamers. But that in itself is just marketing. What Sony and all these other companies are not telling you is that digital is one, like Marco said, digital games can't be resold, they can't be traded in, and can only be purchased through their online store. Which, in a sense, that gives Sony more control over pricing, control over the distribution, and how players access their purchases. I mean, look at the news that Sony, was it last week? They revoked a bunch of media licenses from people's libraries, and granted it was movies, right? It was movies.
It was one studio or distributor, and it's about 500 different movie titles.
Right, which, by the way, that sets a precedence, right? I know it hasn't been done yet for video games, but what's to stop them from doing this in 4, 5, 6 years down the line? And I'm not trying to fearmonger here. It is just something that's been happening, and in this digital first age, we have to look at all possibilities. And without physical games, that limits consumer options, right? It just decreases the value of your consoles, your games, and your experience. Quite frankly, it gives the publishers more leverage, and we're in for a world of suck. That's just what it is, right?
I was just gonna say, like, and it has happened in games too. Like, obviously, like, things like multiplayer, like, people stop playing the game, servers shut down. Fine, we know about that. But like games with like licensed music, licenses expire. Sometimes, like, even think the Transformers games that their license expire, and Activision, then Xbox bought Activision. People have been yearning for Xbox to put the old Transformers, War for Cybertron.
I have it.
Yeah, it's War for Cyber. There's 3 of them, right? Those have been taken off. Oh, the Deadpool game, that was the other big one. Like,
Yep.
Deadpool, you can't buy digitally. Like, that game disc, I'm pretty sure, is a pretty high price. I have it digitally, unfortunately. I wish I had the physical for that. But like, there's certain games like that, like, they just take them off the digital storefront. And if there's that physical, like, if this was Deadpool right now, like, and they didn't make a physical disc, if it were post Jan 1 2028 world, and they just remove the Deadpool from digital, that game is lost forever. And that's the future we're looking at here.
Yep. I think it's, it's kind of scary to say, but the golden age of gaming we're leaving that behind. I mean, we're going to the dark ages of gaming right now. I mean, I get it.
This is late stage capitalism hell.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, digital games are undeniably convenient, but that convenience is going to come with a cost. And I just don't. I mean, for me, I just don't know how much I'm willing to give up for that convenience. If I was a console gamer, I get it. I'm a PC gamer. Most everything is digital already anyways, which is funny because I'm on like Reddit, and like all the PC gamers are like, oh yeah, like Sony Xbox players, welcome to the PC. Well, I mean, ironically, it's all digital already anyways. I think the one positive spin on that though is that Valve and Steam, they've set a positive precedence, right? They there are games that get delisted from Steam and you still can play it. I have Deadpool, I have War for Cybertron, I have the what was it, 007 Legends, right, which is a very rare game to have on Steam. And people, and those are licenses, but they haven't revoked that from our libraries. So I think that's the one positive spin that those people online have. But yeah, I think in general it's just not.
Yeah, but like, who's to say what the future holds? Like Valve, PlayStation, Sony, Microsoft, Xbox, Nintendo, like in an all digital future, like it is a very real, very tangible possibility that all of them could revoke licenses.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I remember the day when I was growing up, even though I was never a PC gamer until more recently in the last couple of years, but like you used to be able to walk into GameStop or a Walmart and pick up a boxed PC game, and they were everywhere. And now you don't. So when was the last time you saw a PC? Like, there's a couple at Walmart, and they're like old, like SimCity 2000, like really old games. But like, PC used to have boxes, and then obviously, like,
Dude.
what happened and why it died is all of your desktop modems remove the disk drive. How many disk drives do you get out of your PC modems nowadays? Like, you can buy an external whatever.
I don't think any PCs now come with a disk drive. I think you have to buy some external thing. But no, you're so right. And man, by the way, those PC boxes were amazing.
They're
chunky,
boys.
But they were detailed and they were nicer than like any console like physical box.
Yeah.
I still have like my Diablo and Warcraft 3 and Zoo Tycoon and all of them. Those chunky boxes with the chunky manuals and maps. And
so I remember all
like
the
that.
World of Warcraft DLC boxes, like just being excited for the cover art and just seeing them on a PC box and like a Best Buy, dude. Those are the days. But those days will be gone, and like I don't know, like not to get too depressing, but like, and people have mentioned this online, so we're rehashing it a bit, but like, not even just from like a preservation perspective, but like, we are older gentlemen, right? We're in our early 30s, dude. You remember like just Christmas Day, man, just unwrapping a stack of games, right? And like,
oh yeah,
kids won't have that.
Yep.
That was such a huge part of childhood.
I would say the last probably 14 years, like if I got a video game, it would be like, oh no, here's a Valve Steam gift card, right? Like it's
right.
It's not like, oh yeah, like we're opening up. I still remember like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon on the DS. I still remember unwrapping that, right? And it's this little box, and I was like, oh, I was so hyped. My brother was hyped because he got the other version. And yeah, I mean, it's sad because like my son will never get to experience that, right? He's probably gonna be getting like a, what is it, like V-Bucks or some
right.
shit like that.
Only you can prevent Fortnite addiction, Nick. Dude, I just my quick aside on it, like, dude, I remember when I first got my Xbox in 2001. I went to the stocking next to the mantle place, and the first thing I unwrapped that Christmas morning was Grabbed by the Ghoulies by Rare. And it was a game I really wanted because I was such a Banjo-Kazooie fan, and it was like their next game after Banjo-Kazooie. I was like, Mom, like Santa got it wrong. Like I have Grabbed by the Ghoulies, but I don't have an Xbox. But And then later that day is like the last present I unwrapped was an Xbox, which I should have put one and two together. But like,
that's awesome, man.
Fast forward like a couple years from now, I have a kid, and like, what am I gonna put an Xbox gift card in the kid's stocking? Like, like it's just, I don't know. They're stealing our joy.
They are stealing our joy, and I'll say this, like, I think in recent years, just going out to getting a console now, it just feels very sterile. Like there's no excitement to it. I remember back, when the PlayStation 2 came out, my dad and I would line up at, I think it was Toys R Us. And there are no more Toys R Us by us. I don't know if there's any of you listeners out there.
There's some small ones that are called Jeffrey something now, and like super tiny. I don't even know if that's still going.
Exactly, and I still remember we'd be waiting in line and getting our PlayStation 2. Same with the Wii and things like that. And it's just like crazy memories. And I know this is probably nostalgia speaking, but I just don't see that happening anymore. I mean, the last like console like lineup that I did was for the original Switch with my buddies, and we had lined up at Best Buy because it was like sold out everywhere. But yeah, it's going to be rare and like for in the near future, I think. So it sucks.
Yeah, and we could talk about a few more things too. Like, so I just from what I've seen online, like people are giving shade to Sony, and I'm finally glad that PlayStation gets a little bit into the negative spotlight. And I'm not trying to console war, but I between like Xbox, Sony, PlayStation, Nintendo, like all these companies, like we got like as gamers stop licking the boot. I feel like we've been licking the boot for so long, and I'm happy to see that no matter like
You're gonna trigger so
console
many
warrant,
people.
dude. We are licking the boot. People are. I'm good. We should trigger. Like people should be mad about this, and like we keep like giving these companies a pass, and like it is worth making our voices known and complaining about these things online. And like I was reading like Chris String on thegamebusiness.com did a couple of interviews, and we'll talk about some of the other things perhaps he said in like for our other news stories. But like he even said like some internal discussion on Xbox was like like people in the gaming industry listen to people on Twitter a little bit too much, which in some ways is true, but in some ways good, because I want people to continue complaining about this and like calling these companies out. Because I will say the one thing I think Sony is doing that's a little shady. It's not shady. It's smart business decision, but like from a gamer's perspective, it is shady. Like just the timing of when they're announcing this as well. And again, I'm not trying to counsel war, but I just think it's interesting. Like Sony does this all the time, where like they are really good at burying bad news, and they don't want people complaining about this for too long. So when this news broke out, it was actually July 1st. June 30th was the end of their fiscal year. Sony's next earnings call is July 31st, but their next earnings call only goes up to June 30th, so they don't have to talk about this in their next earnings call. The next earnings call after this will be at the end of September 30th. And obviously, like some people who like want to boycott Sony now, like they're gonna like, I'm gonna end my PS Plus subscription, whatever. Like, how many of those people might be back by September because this news will fade away? Like, it's very strategic when they announced this announcement, and not to mention they kind of put it in the middle of what we've been talking about the last few news cycles, is like all these Xbox studio closures, everything. It was still in the news last week. And I think Sony, in a way, like I'm not trying to counsel war, but like I feel like they put it in the middle of all that. Like, hey, maybe this will get buried between all of like the bad press that Xbox is about to get when they announce studio layoffs. And yeah, they kind of just like threw it in there in the middle of the news cycle.
I'll say this: they're being
very
strategic.
No, it is strategic. No, it's absolutely 100% strategic, and it's a good, smart decision. But like, it's stuff like that where I'm saying, if you don't complain about it and you don't like continue rehashing it, their whole strategy is like, we hope this gets thrown under the wave. And I'm happy to see that gamers, and not even just gamers, other companies. I don't know if you saw all the like funny tweets from like,
oh yeah,
Domino's, we're gonna make digital pizzas. Who else had Hasbro had one. It was like, we're gonna make digital toys, and like you're not gonna unwrap toys anymore on Christmas. Like other companies are getting into it, and I'm so happy to see Sony PlayStation get a little bit of backlash, because I feel like they've flown under the radar, and they've had just as many bad, very greedy, anti-consumer decisions as every other video game company too in recent years, and like they like just seem to get a pass, and I'm glad they're not getting a pass this time.
I think you guys can tell who's the biggest Xbox fan here.
No, like it's not even just Xbox. Like no, Xbox deserves some hate.
I know.
They absolutely do.
I know. They both. I mean, honestly, like just I think I'm probably one of the more unbiased takes, because I play on the PC, so I'm like looking from kind of the outside, right? I don't play on an Xbox. I don't play on a PlayStation, and just it's just really sad seeing these two like giants, right? Two giants in the gaming industries are are just making mistake after mistake after mistake, making terrible announcements and decisions. And it's like, as a gamer, and I know like you're super passionate about this, and I love it because like we need to be passionate about these situations, because if we're not, and we're just going to bend over and take it from these companies, like
That's what I mean. Yeah.
yeah, they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep making these terrible decisions.
And just to give like a quick history too, like obviously like this specific reason that Sony just announced is the exact reason why Xbox sucked for the last 15 years and why the Xbox One failed. Xbox and Microsoft, they always seem to try to be, quote, ahead of the curve, and they do things a little bit too early. They see where the ball in the future is going, and they get there just super early. And they knew with the Xbox One generation, 2013, everything is going to be digital, everything is going to be streaming. And then they came out that E3 and they're like, yeah, this is a Netflix box. This is a digital online always all the time, which is basically the future and the reality we're living in now. Like even like James Bond First Light, like they want you to like, you can play it offline, but it's like play this online. Like single player games you have to be online all the time for. Like,
and that sucks.
Xbox saw that future and we gave them shit for it in 2013, rightly so. But now that this future has come to reality, the Xbox One generation completely failed. And everybody referenced this week the very like viral instructional video PlayStation put out. It was like how to share a used game on PS4, and they had the two the American CEO and the CEO of PlayStation at the time, whose names I'm forgetting. They had the video like handing the game over, right? Like PlayStation was praised at that time for that video, and like again, this is the future we're in. And like Sony feels like they can come out with this decision because Xbox is failing right now. And they're probably on the verge of being sold off by Microsoft, which is why they're closing so many studios, because Microsoft probably wants to keep them as light as possible. And I do think we might see the very real possibility that the whole Xbox, sub company within Microsoft gets sold off. PlayStation just feels the confidence like, hey, now we can finally pull the trigger on these bad decisions because we're at the top right now. And I do like, no matter if you're a PC gamer, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, I'm all four of them. I don't care, but like we need competition, and I want all these companies to succeed, but by doing so with pro consumer decisions, because that's the only way these things stay in competition and they make better decisions, because they're all fighting against each other. Yeah. PlayStation gets to make shittier decisions when competition such as Xbox is weak, and they just have the gall right now to be able to pull the trigger on this horrible decision.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It only helps the consumers if everyone is vying to be successful and whatnot.
So keep complaining, everyone.
Yeah. So before we jump into to actually talk about some Xbox news, let's do some housekeeping items, right? For all you listeners up to this point, make sure to, if you're enjoying these videos and podcasts, just leave a like and subscribe and follow whatever platform you're on. Below is our link tree, which Marco and we've created pretty much all a channel or an account pretty much everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course, Spotify, TikTok. I'm probably missing a few, but we're all, it's all down below. So make sure you follow us, and just be engaged with us. We love the engagement. We love to just talk and discuss and yap about different things. And also we're on the road to 100 subscribers. So with that awesome milestone in mind, we are going to be doing a giveaway for a game code of your of the console of your choice. So just stay tuned and continue to be engaged.
And just a quick reminder on how to enter. So what we'll do is once we reach 100 subscribers on YouTube, what we're doing is we're taking anyone who's commented on our video. So I'm keeping a spreadsheet of all the commenters, and then I'll just put it through a randomizer. We'll make it short about it so people know that it was legit, and then we'll reach out to the winner. So to enter. First of all, make sure you're subscribed so we get to 100. First of all, but comment on our videos, and any comment is automatically entered into this giveaway that we have going on. So, and I hope you see as throughout all of our videos, we engage back with you on your comments. So, looking forward to seeing what you guys all have to say.
Yeah, and big shout out to those of you who have given us feedback and critiques and words of just of encouragement. We really
so much positive.
Yeah, we love seeing it. You guys really make this a lot of fun for Marco and I to do. So, yeah.
And we're still learning, and we'll continue to get better.
Absolutely. Awesome. So let's dive into Xbox. I think we can start with talking about some of the Xbox studio closure rumors and things like that. I think while you were gone, I think one of the bigger studios that's allegedly going to be shuttered is Arcane, right? They are currently in the midst of developing Blade, and Xbox is reportedly canceling Blade because it's going over budget.
Yeah, it's hard to comment on this story because I feel like as gamers, even internally with Xbox, everyone is running around with their heads on fire. Nobody knows what the hell is going on besides studio, Asha Sharma and her table, and Satya Nadella and Amy Hood's table, right? Like, they're the only ones who truly know. And I feel like because there have been weeks and weeks of rumors, like, honestly, like, let's just say the quiet part out loud, everything is on the chopping block right now. Like, I don't think anything is safe, and even if a studio doesn't close, there could be layoffs across we just don't know. What I do find that's interesting and actually gives me some positive thought about it is I thought studio closures would have been announced last week while I was gone in Scotland, because their fiscal year ended last week. So July 1st would have been the first day of the new fiscal year for Microsoft that I thought they would have announced things. The fact that they haven't announced anything officially actually does give me some hope that maybe they are finding some buyers and some of these studios will be spun off and sold to other companies, which honestly for me is the most important thing, right? Like, again, I'm an Xbox fan, but like, it's no secret that these studios have been mismanaged, either rightly or wrongly, in terms of, they take too long, or they're not selling like gangbusters like Microsoft expects, or, they take a long time. Like, so reasons aside for why these studios could be seen as a success or a failure. And again, we talked about in a previous video, like, they are all just fulfilling a mandate put out by Phil Spencer of like, we have to round out the Game Pass catalog.
Exactly.
Ultimately, yep. As a gamer, like, I just want these studios to survive. I don't give a care if it's under Microsoft or not. I want to play these games. I want to see what Senua looks like. I really want Blade. Like, if we lose Blade, I will be decimated, because we need good new Marvel games that's not, named under the Insomniac umbrella with Spider-Man and Wolverine. Like, yep. Xbox needs to compete in these spaces. So I wish they are able to keep them and they could put them under like a Xbox console exclusivity just to compete a little bit better against PlayStation. But ultimately, like, as a gamer, we just want to see these games and these studios survive, and we want more content.
Yep. No. Yep. Absolutely. And a Blade game by Arcane would be absolutely peak, because I think I told you, Dishonored franchise, one of my favorite franchises of all time. I actually thoroughly enjoyed Deathloop. I enjoyed the Prey remake. Dude, even going back into their like early 2000 days of Arx Fatalis, like, man, they would have cooked so hard with Blade. And if Microsoft just, I mean, come on, man, Microsoft, you make so much money. Like, yeah, they might be going over budget. So let it play out. Like, what are you doing?
Not this game. Yeah,
like,
I guess as a Marvel fan too, like Blade is like has always been one of my favorite characters. I grew like we're both '90s kids, and like arguably like the Blade movie with Wesley Snipes like is what like started the whole superhero trend, and like nobody ever thought like Blade has always been like I grew up with Blade because I grew up with that Wesley Snipes and like got really into the character. Like,
Yeah.
dude, like if we're not gonna get a Blade game and the MCU, Marvel is like has canceled the Mahershala Ali Blade thing that I was so excited about. Like, come on, man! Like Blade is such a cool, easy character. He's a vampire hunter. Like, we need
You
content.
know, it's funny. I keep seeing these memes where Wesley Snipes famously said, "There's only been one Blade. There's only ever gonna be one Blade." And people are like, "Yep, this man has cursed the Blade franchise."
Yeah, no, he done did it. Thanks, Wesley Snipes.
Like, yeah, thanks a lot, Wes. Jeez,
Yeah,
man. But
I mean, everything has been in the news. Like Arcane was the big one, but like I even saw
I saw
and then I think
Obsidian and
Obsidian,
and
Jason
Jason
Schreier.
Schreier had to say
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, like Obsidian is not on the chopping block." But hey, I'm in that. I'm on the side of like if there's smoke, there's fire, and clearly there's some sort of smoke there. And I would hate to see Obsidian gone because I absolutely love Obsidian games. I know after that kind of announcement, the alleged announcement, like they someone said that they're allegedly doing a new Fallout, which I think that was also debunked,
Mm-hmm.
which that was heart shattering for me because I absolutely love Fallout and an Obsidian Fallout. Sign me up, right?
Sure.
But I don't know. It's a lot of swirl around it, you know.
Yeah, and there's swirl internally, like I said, like Chris Dring in his GameBusiness.com article. I don't know if he named, he was interviewing various people within Xbox and just about, its current state, its future, right? And one of the people within Xbox, who I don't think was named, had a quote: "We're chasing a declining market with franchises that are past their prime." Oof, like that is such a, and it does paint a pretty bleak picture of what's going on with Xbox. I think we saw that showcase. A lot of people got really excited about obviously Gears of War returning to form, right? We have a new Halo coming out later this month, which I'm personally super excited about. I can't wait to replay through that campaign. We have Fable coming back. Forza 6 Horizon 6 just came out and it was very popular reviews. Like, but those are all of Xbox's tried and true franchises that have always been more or less successful. Halo and Gears have had some rocky games in their last couple, but like I think there's a point there of like, okay, fine, we're gonna make some of these games exclusive, such as Clockwork Revolution, Gears of War E-Day. Who knows what else they may make exclusive in the future? But you're also going to potentially close all of your other studios that potentially were making new intellectual property. Like, who's to say Blade couldn't be like the next big thing? And Arcane is like, what Insomniac is to Sony and their like superhero, game studio, right? Like, I do think there's some credence there. Like, you need studios and you need exclusive games, right? Not to say I love exclusives, but like that's the way to compete in this market, and that's the only thing the console industry has been able to figure out is how to compete is exclusivity, and that's what's working for Sony and Nintendo. Like Xbox needs exclusivity, but you can't have exclusivity if you're killing off all your studios, all of your intellectual property before they come off the rip, and you're not making third-party deals. The other big Xbox news this week was supposedly that third-party partnerships have been paused on Game Pass. What? Like that's the whole, if that's true, like that's the whole business model. Like Game Pass isn't anything if you don't have things in your catalog. And half the reason you get Game Pass besides the first party is the third party. And they've supposedly paused, I don't like, for an indefinite amount of time. Who knows how much is true? Again, like I think there's just so much swirl right now. And Xbox has always been, I like their PR and their social media response has just always been suboptimal, and like they're just letting all these rumors swirl. We haven't had any statements, and I get that it's a double-edged sword, but like, dude, like I feel like Xbox has always just been stepping on rakes lately, and like, Xbox could have done the easiest thing this week of like, after Sony's bad news, like, hey, maybe Project Helix will have a disk drive and we will continue to support physical games. Like, how much of an easy layup could that have been? But there's gonna be people who say like, well, you can't just add disk drive to a thing that's supposed to come out next year. People, you could, if there's a will, there's a way. I think, right? Like, but no, like Xbox is also going towards this like all digital future. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know, man, their strategy and like the house is just always on fire with them, and they can't squash any rumors. They just let all this negative media attention swirl and become bigger than what it is. So again, I know we keep reporting on it. Like at this point, like, man, I just can't wait for them to say something and just announce what the hell it is that's happening, and we can move on to other news. But like, it's been over a month of like, is this happening? Is that happening? It's crazy. It's honestly ridiculous, and like, they cannot capitalize when like Sony is in the bad media spotlight to get some good news or press. Like, they just keep missing layups. Honestly,
Yeah. No. And I'll be honest with you, as someone who's console agnostic, being a PC gamer, it's a little bit entertaining. I think just kind of seeing these two companies kind of shoot themselves in the foot. I don't know if you've seen I saw a meme this morning. It was like Sony shooting themselves, Xbox shooting themselves, and then Valve is like making that face of like what is going on? And then you have I I just
Nintendo's just like Shigeru Miyamoto is just in the background, like
yeah.
counting his stacks of paper.
Yeah, he probably put out a mandate this week. He's like, no one make any stupid announcements because all of our competitors are quite literally just shooting themselves
Dude,
in the foot.
Nintendo like I'll give Nintendo its flowers. Like they get away with so much.
Yeah.
And like by doing nothing. They don't have
Yep.
to do anything.
Yep.
They barely are in
They
social media. They barely are in the press. They come out every once in a while like, hey, we have a Nintendo Direct for this one game we have coming out next month.
yeah.
And that's it. And they just bring in bank. Like honestly,
Yep.
good on Nintendo for just like
No, for
they
sure.
don't step on rakes, and yet they
No.
make so many anti-consumer decisions all the time.
Exactly. And you know my true feelings about Nintendo, and I mean a quick a little sneak peek, I guess a look into the future, but Marco and I were going to be recording our deep dive of Star Fox, and even just playing my first hour of it, Marco already kind of knows how I feel about Nintendo. So yeah,
He's wrong.
regardless of how I feel
Well,
about
yeah, but-
Nintendo, I think they somehow just avoid the bad spotlight and avoid, as you said, avoid stepping on rakes, and they just keep raking in money. It's I don't know how they do it, but Sony and Xbox, man, they need to follow suit. They need to change something because the way and the direction that they're going, it's just not. It just doesn't look good. So, anyways, I think that's all I had for today. Marco, did you have any other last minute news that you want to talk about? Anything that caught your attention?
The only thing I'll just quickly mention, and I didn't read too much into the story, but maybe we'll make a video later this week on like Grand Theft Auto 6. The other big news this week was like Rockstar North is or just Rockstar generally is under fire a little bit, and like how they treated their employees. I think there's problems with like the unions and crunch time and pay inequity, and how they failed to,
Which is insane, man.
but
Like you're making, they probably made $1 billion off of pre-orders alone. You're telling me you can't be paying these people? You're telling me like it?
But also like it's like Rockstar has been known for crunch. I feel like all of their games have crunch at the end. Or like there's the same story about Red Dead Redemption 2 back in 2018. But it's just like, dude, like how do you work on these games for 7-8 years? Like what crunch can you like again, I'm not a pundit. I don't pretend to be an expert. I'm not inside the industry. We're just two gamers who are commenting on the industry, looking from the outside in. But like, I just don't understand how like we always get this story of like crunch. Like GTA 5 was 13 years ago. Like I know you had Red Dead Redemption 2 in between, but like, what crunch? Like,
Did they spent most of their time counting stacks of cash. That's
right,
what it was, man.
Hey, it takes a while.
It takes a while.
I will share my quick picture because that news came out, and I actually happened to be while I was in Edinburgh this week. I was 5 minutes away from the Rockstar North office. I walked by there real quick, just to check out the building. Saw a couple of employees. They seemed okay. Maybe a little bit tired. You know, a lot of them are smoking cigarettes outside. But I'll just share quickly my picture, me in front of the Rockstar North building in Edinburgh. But yeah, we'll see what news comes out of that. We'll probably make a video this week on the Grand Theft Auto. But yeah, I think that's it for this week.
Yep, absolutely, for sure. And by the way, that's such a cool picture. Just being in front of Rockstar, that's awesome. But
No.
yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you, Screen Peekers, for listening. As always, Marco and I, we love doing this. We do this for the passion, right? We do this for you guys, and leave in the comments, what you guys thought about the news this past week. I know it's been super. It feels like we're being Debbie Downers these last couple of weeks in terms of news, but it's just the way it goes. And hopefully next week or the week after we have some good news in the video gaming world. But with that, everyone, enjoy the rest of your week and have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.